How's it going, everybody? Francisco here again with 3 Building Services, trying to give another tip of how to be able to be profitable and not be in the red numbers on your custom home build. So one of the biggest things is before you even get started, before you even go vertical, as we call it, verticals, after you pour concrete and you're literally going vertical. So one of the biggest things is analyzing your plan and making sure you are firm with your decisions, right? So one of the biggest things is looking at your elevations and the type of materials you will use. So here we're looking at this beautiful home that is around 6,000 square feet on the roof. Here's a quick glance at the blueprints. But if we look at this elevation, right, this elevation calls out for brick. If you're not sure if you guys could understand quite a bit, but let me show you this. So this elevation calls for brick. This call out here is brick. All this is brick, right? So as you can tell, this is a little image of brick. So this here, that means brick, right? Now, if you want to make that change, you have to make sure if you want to go to siding, you have to make sure your framer knows concrete, not too big of a deal depending on what type of slab you pour. If it's a monolithic and you have footings underneath it, it might not be a big deal. But in order to save you some concrete, if you pour a post-tension slab, you're gonna have a 5.5 inch bricklet. You might want to let them know before that you're going 100% siding, or some areas siding, some areas brick. And the biggest reason for that is because on this eave, so we have an eave. This is an eave. These areas, we call them cornice, but those are eaves, right? All that are eaves. So as you can tell, these are eaves. So these areas will have a brick pocket. And if you don't inform your framer that you're gonna change from brick to siding, you will have an issue because you will have a 5-inch gap along this entire section. 5.5. Some people do 4 inches, but usually everybody sticks to 5.5 inch. That way you have an air gap between your house and your brick and mortar. But the biggest thing is, if you do not, as you can tell, this is the back side of the home. This calls for brick all the way. This is a home we did not too long ago. Calls for brick, and obviously this is a call out for siding, as you could tell. So this is a good example here. So this area here where I'm cutting off, so this area on the left side will have a brick pocket, and this area here will have no brick pocket because the siding, obviously siding is 1/4 inch, half an inch, 4x smart, half an inch. So you don't need, all you need is a trim piece at the top. So the biggest problem, if you don't let your framer know, you will have in this area, you will have a 5.5 inch, you will have a 5.5 inch hole right here that's gonna be hard to fill in once you made the choice after letting everybody know that you went from brick to siding. And vice versa on the opposite way. If you go from siding to brick, instead of having a hole, your eave dimension, so your eave dimension, this distance right here will get a lot smaller if you go from siding to brick. Because usually down here where we're from, southeastern Oklahoma, North Texas, when you do 100% siding home, you do 12-inch eave, just like this here is a foot. So if you come back and decide you're gonna add a brick ledge, you'll have a pocket now to add that's 5.5 inches, which will make will cut your eave exposure by 5.5 inches. So you're looking at about 6.5 inches that you will have left. And I mean, some people might go for it, some people might not, but it's always better to just make the call ahead of time, analyze your plans before you go vertical, and have your builder help you out. And if you don't have a builder, we're here to help nationwide. That's it for today. Y'all have a blessed day.